I've been in the advanced TV, data-driven TV space for the past 10 years. And what I really like about Tatari is that I think that they're taking that general space to the next level. A lot of folks have been concerned, over the past 5, 10 years about how to move from age, gender, demo audiences to strategic audiences in TV. And I think that's interesting. But what's much more interesting to me, and I think much more future facing, is moving from traditional reach and branding metrics in TV to performance. And that's what Tatari is all about. They're all about driving growth for performance driven advertisers through streaming and through linear TV.
So, Todd, give us a sort of the use case of how you work. And we understand you're working a lot with challenger brands. What are they looking for, and what do you provide?
So these challenger brands are disruptors in their category, and they are all about growth. They're growth junkies, right? They care less about the traditional TV metrics, about reach and frequency. What they care about is growing their business at an efficient customer acquisition cost. So a lot of times, most of the time, we're dealing with the performance marketing team at our brands who are using traditional growth channels like search, like social. And what we see over time is as these brands scale, those traditional channels start to lose effectiveness. And so, what starts out as a really efficient customer acquisition cost starts to drift, especially at the margin when you look at the cost to acquire the next brand new customer. And at that point, they have a business problem because they have aggressive growth goals and they've exhausted the channels that they know. And a lot of times they don't really believe that TV or streaming can help them. They think that it costs too much money to do, too expensive to test, is not for a brand like them. And that's where Tatari comes in. Like, we have built our measurement tools to really isolate performance for performance-driven brands, like what true incrementality is. And then what a lot of people don't know about is that we've built an extensive suite of buying tools so that we can understand what's the right thing to buy, what's the right price to pay, what price will inventory clear properly. If you buy a particular piece of inventory, you buy a streaming platform, what result can our clients expect in terms of visitors to the website, in terms of acquiring new customers? So we've really built these tools with the mindset of the performance marketer top of mind.
So, Todd, tell us a little about your gig and what your charge is and what you hope to accomplish there.
Yeah, I'm here as VP Client Development, help scale the business. There are so many brands out there that we think can benefit from the approach that Tatari has taken. I'm also looking at the overall offering, thinking about other ways that we might want to deploy the software and the technology that we built in the future. So really, Tatari's had incredible growth over the past 5 years and pretty spectacular growth over the last 12 months. So I'm here to make sure that growth continues and really introduce a more performance way of approaching TV and streaming to more advertisers.
And Todd, just for our viewers to understand around performance, and there are a number of companies that are providing, performance benchmarks and performance outcome based analysis and so forth. What is it sort of you're offering that's different, and why does it matter?
So, when it comes to growth marketers, performance marketers, they see whether or not, when they spend $1, they see in the results whether it results in incremental business for them or not. So there's no faking it, right? And I think a lot of traditional approaches to performance measurement in TV and streaming take a generous view as to what is actually incremental. So, someone's exposed to the TV spot right now through the TV manufacturer data. You can look and understand everyone that went to the website or bought the product, over the next, 30 days if you want. But a lot of those people would have gone anyway, right? Like, TV's a broad medium. A lot of them would have gone anyway. A lot of them were exposed to Facebook or a search ad or other things. And I think what we've taken really seriously is the concept of incrementality. Like maybe it actually makes it look like TV isn't working as well, but the results that we connect to TV are real and incremental, and the brands and marketers that we work with buy into that. And when you can get down to that, when you can actually isolate what is driving incremental customer acquisition, that really lets you optimize and really lets you think about what's the right price to pay for this inventory. And if I can pay the right price for something, it drives incrementality at a price that is efficient for the brand. That brand will keep spending in that space until it doesn't work for them. And like every day we're out there competing with other growth channels. And if TV's not working, if streaming's not working, that money flows back into search or social or other channels. So we're accountable every week on behalf of our clients to deliver them new customers at an efficient price.
And Todd, finally, in terms of the sort of the world of DSPs, and you were at Adobe in their DSP for quite a while, and to Mogul, and what is your thought about the current state of DSPs, how that's changing, and the expectations of brands, not for you guys at Tatari, but more broadly?
I think it's interesting, right? I mean, the DSP world is obviously in a world of transition with the changes that are happening in the browser space and in the mobile ID space. So I think there's a lot of questions out there about different types of targeting, what's going to be effective and scalable in the future. I think one thing that I really like about the performance approach is that while audiences are important, ultimately performance is what brands are looking for. So we're able to test and probe different types of inventory and almost put audience on the back burner and test and see if a different approach works in terms of performance. And I think it's actually a little bit more privacy friendly than some of the audience approaches. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously the Trade Desk is doing incredibly well in the DSP space. I think other companies' results are not as spectacular as the Trade Desk. And then the other thing is I think there's a lot of open questions about how streaming and connected TV inventory will be transacted in the future. Like, will it be in a biddable environment? Will it be more private marketplace? Like, how is that going to work? How is more addressable media going to work? So I think, I'm a fan of the DSP space coming from that space, but there's a lot of interesting questions about what happens next for DSPs over the next 2 years.